it, I mean, and being married is hard work, right? And I'm not gonna lie to you, I couldn't see myself with a wife and somebody else because I think I would go crazy. I could, I mean, emotionally, I mean, physically maybe I could probably handle it, but emotionally, I couldn't do it. I mean, because you're spreading yourself so thin between two different people. I mean, so that's my
I
thoughts.
love that you said that. I love that
That's
you
true.
said that because this is exactly why the majority and the vast majority of Muslim men only have one wife. There are so many men who have tried to have two wives and ruin their lives forever, ruin their marriages forever. And not even that the fact that, oh, it's like, another wife, but it's a whole nother household, finances, personalities, cultures, uh, familial collisions. Now you got two loud ass mother-in-laws and dads and brother-in-laws to dodge, and kids who are competing with one another because the first wife's kids think they're better than the second wife's kids. Like a lot of
That
Muslims,
takes
the
management.
majority of them are only with one wife.
That takes management. Yeah,
Yeah, I can
that
see
takes
that.
a lot of management.
Yeah, I can see that because I'm like this. Like even if I would be like in a relationship where I had like two wives, I'm like, I don't, even if they cool with each other, so I don't need two women teaming up on me.
Ooh, that is the next problem. If those women actually love each other, you're a slave.
Yeah, they're gonna be like Shaq and Kobe. They're gonna double team on zero.
Right,
A double team
right,
all day.
right. I just need
One is gonna
one.
throw the ball
One,
up.
yeah,
One is gonna throw the ball up, and
one's gonna be enough already.
the other one's gonna slam dunk on zero. So they're gonna tag team.
I'll be able to handle it, but it's just like I don't, it's just like, dude, it's just like you gotta work a little harder to get past the double team. That's all.
Zero,
Yeah,
are you
gotta
still in
pass
the
through 'em.
audience? If you're still in the audience, why didn't you come up? You got time?
Yeah, we need more people to come on the panel, man.
Yeah, man, this is a
From
good
women's
topic.
perspective,
I know
yeah.
many people have bothered me about this topic, and I'm like, no, I'm willing to talk about it. Let's talk.
But you know what though, too, Uppity, I think a lot more women are attracted to the future type than the Russell Wilson type.
I
I
just,
do. I do. I mean, because if you think
that's
about
because
it,
you're from Philly.
well, no,
Women
because
in Philly is the fast lane type.
Future is from
fast
Atlanta,
money is
and you're in Atlanta, and you're previously from Philly. Philly
right.
is ghetto, gangster. The culture out there is thug, this and that. Y'all got more bodies in Iraq. Just big facts. Everybody's catching a body in Philly. And then Future is like, King Atlanta. So yeah, a lot of women there would like him, but I think just on average, like Thugs is done. Hitters not so much, but just like D-boys and these people who got 9 and 11 baby mamas, that's a STD. I think a lot of women, because African American, we know our status now. We have more STDs than everybody else. We're scared of men like that now. We're scared. We don't want something that we can't cure. I think Future's disgusting.
I don't know. Because the women still having sex with him. You would think
Look at the
after
caliber
5.
of women who are sleeping with him. Look
You said
at
what's that?
who they are. Look at the caliber of women who are sleeping with him. I mean, people who just want to be famous, want to be laid up with a baby for money. Like, look at the caliber of women. Like, no woman that you would want to be with, be a woman that you would pump and dump, but no woman that you would really want to hang around is with Future. Maybe the first 3 baby mamas might be quality. I would say maybe the first 4 or 5, but by the time you get to the ones that come after that, because it's like, what in the world would possess you to be with a guy who has that many baby mamas? What would do it to you?
and plus you openly know. This is
And you
something that
openly know, like at this point in time, everybody knows Future's a hoe, a sloppy barebacking ass hoe. Like, that's scary. Especially the fact that his home is Atlanta, and Atlanta is HIV/AIDS central. And
That's
you got a
true.
lot of masculine men who look like him, who like boy booty, like bussy. Like that's I'm just telling you from my perspective and from so many of the women I know. I see some of the women in the chat. All of us were saying that we would go hard, much harder for Russell Wilson than we ever would for old dude. But I definitely think in Atlanta, because of the culture in Atlanta, yeah, Future's a big deal. Sierra is from Atlanta. I think that's one of the reasons he got with her. I think if she was originally from somewhere like Seattle,
He says, yeah.
that's nasty. That's nasty.
Dude. And he
Yeah, I mean,
has
I will say though,
other kids too.
I mean, like living down here in the South, a lot of these dudes have at least 3 kids. I mean, but the norm is like, 4, 5, and 6.
3 kids to who? One woman?
No, I mean, it'd be between 3 to 2 different baby mothers. Like it seemed like it's normal here for a man to have just a bunch of kids. Just a bunch of them. I'm being so serious.
You know what's crazy? Because you're from Philly, right? There's a story of this African American brother and sister who were about to get married. Like they didn't know why they loved each other at first sight. They were going to get married, but they figured out, oh, we have so much in common because we're brother and sister. Same dad, different moms.
I heard about stuff like that happening.
Scary.
Yeah, I think I heard about one woman who like ended up sleeping with like 2 of her cousins, like twice. Didn't even know it until their family, and ran their family, like, oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, but then too, like you gotta realize, like in the South, I mean, it was normal for a woman to have 15, 16 kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, back in the day. So I'm assuming. I mean, I don't know because I'm not from the South, but
Yeah, my family's from Louisiana. So
right.
it's normal for us to have a whole lot of kids. That's beautiful. It's just, my grandma had 10 kids by one man,
Wow.
So it's just a different vibe.
That is amazing. That is amazing, Uppity.
Can
Matter
you
of fact,
bring your big head up here? He says, dang, the degradation of black folks in Atlanta. She down talking her own people. SMH, whoa. You know how Grandmaster be talking with his hands?
yeah, he did that to me when we did our little stock shit. He tried to prove me wrong. I had to come up with 2 bangers. He did that
Tell
to
me
me.
what I said wrong. You guys be supporting Kevin Samuels like, well, what did he say was wrong? What did he say? We have a brother.
That is like a religion.
I'm gonna say that I do not support him. I never did.
Never did. He used to ask
Yeah.
me when he pretty much tried to say I didn't know what I was doing in business. I had to prove him wrong. So
Yeah,
No, I was living my life of a Grandmaster troll. I know you guys don't support him, but Grandmaster
oh man, these
is manosphere. And so they're tucking their own people. Look, the fact is that African American women, we do have the most STDs. That's a fact. When it comes to people groups, that's a fact. We have the most, and part of the reason we have the most is because a lot of us are sleeping with the same men. A lot of us are sharing men. These men have multiple baby mamas. Like what he was saying is common in Atlanta for these men to have a lot of different baby mamas. And plus, if you look at, these statistics or whatever, when it comes to HIV and where you find it in certain places in Africa and certain places in America. And one of the places you find it in America, the highest is Atlanta. So why are you talking to me like I'm hating on black people, life of a Grandmaster troll? Bring your narrow peanut head ass up here and let me know why. Tell me what I said wrong, because I don't think I said anything wrong.
Atlanta is the AIDS capital of the United States.
And he said, look at her talking bad about her own people.
60
really cares in Atlanta right now.
67% of all AIDS cases are in Atlanta.
That's what made me not want to go. when you have a name like Chocolate, you want to go to Chocolate City. As far as I knew, Washington, D.C. was Chocolate City, and Atlanta was a Black Mecca, and that counts as Chocolate City as well. I made it my life's goal to get to those two cities, and both cities I've never been to. Atlanta, when I was going to go, that's when I found out about the AIDS, and I'm just like, I'm not trying to be surrounded by a bunch of fine-ass Black people with AIDS. I think every time I've seen anybody in Atlanta, I found them all attractive. Everybody in Atlanta is attractive to me. The men, the women, like everybody's beautiful because they're Black, you know?
I I actually have family in Atlanta. I think I went down and was like probably like 6. So I didn't don't remember much about it. I remember going 6 days there, but that's about all I remember. Yeah. Yeah.
Cuss me out, Kenny. Tell me off. Tell me why I'm so bad. And why I'm being a bad BW.
Let me give a popcorn.
How's everybody doing on the panel?
We doing
What's
good,
going on,
man.
man?
Good.
Yeah. All right. So the problem I have with Uppity Unicorn's little soliloquy about STDs amongst Black folks, specifically Black folk in the city of Atlanta. Because if I were to ask her how many people you know by name that has this disease called HIV, AIDS, herpes, do you know have? Secondly, I thought medical information was supposed to remain, confidential between the people in the medical office, but it seems all they gotta do is write a report saying Black folks in a certain city with no specific names, no specific diseases, and Uppity Unicorn would go on YouTube, take this information, and use it to degrade her own people.
But dude, that's a fact, man. 36,000 people in 2018 has pretty much stated that they have HIV, man.
So
can you tell me the names of these 36,000 people who announced to the world that they have all these STDs?
Why are you asking us?
That's unregistered based on medical records.
So, all right. So my wife is an attorney, right? And she works in the medical field.
Mm-hmm.
So with HIPAA, right? The only thing about HIPAA is you can't disclose. You can't link an actual person's name to the disease that they have, right? I can't as a medical doctor say Uppity Unicorn has HIV. I can't say that, right? However, what I can say is a young lady came into my office and she tested positive for HIV. You see what I'm saying? So from that you can get statistics and all that stuff. So it's not about disclosing people's information. You know what I mean? It's as long as you're not giving their name, you can get statistics, man.
So you mean to tell me you believe in the same as you guys would call it, as Uppity Unicorns would call it, a racist country to tell you the truth about your own people, who you takes information and uses it against your own people to keep you guys at conflict. We've seen this country lie about the pandemic. We see the inconsistencies about the pandemic, but you believe wholeheartedly that these same racist institutions, systematic, this is telling you the truth about the status of your own people.
Let me ask you something. Do you believe the sun is yellow? Or do you believe that is 8 planets out there? I mean, the same people that you're talking about fed us that same information as well.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So I mean, really, by your logic, we can't believe anything.
Mm-hmm. Well,
anything.
I do. There's exactly 9 planets, but what we have been taught, however many planets they are, their names, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, I'm taught to believe that they exist. That doesn't mean I believe that they exist, but when somebody asks me about the planets, I know where they're pulling the information from.
So you're regurgitating the information that the racist white people gave you.
No, I'm not I'm not regurgitating the racist information that the white people gave me. I'm just aware of the information that the racist white people gave me. You see the difference?
Well, you're aware of it, but where did that information come from?
It
You
came
get what I'm
from
saying?
yeah, it came
I
from
mean,
textbooks, sign books. People have claimed to have done studies on it, but I'm aware of the information. That doesn't mean I 100% agree with the information.
Control.
Yes, Uppity.
Have you ever, and I think you're adorable, have you ever given this kind of pushback to the manosphere for saying that African American women have the most STDs of any population in America? One of the ones that I agree with, but they say it all the damn time in terms of why you shouldn't choose or be with an African American woman. There was just a guy on my panel the other day. I forgot what his name was. No, it wasn't my panel. It was maybe Dee Durrell. Nope, it was Mark Minock. It was Actual Potential. And he kept talking about how many STDs. I don't recall ever seeing you give any pushback to any of the Black men who say that African American women have the most STDs. So why the pushback for me?
Because I've never been in a chat room or on a panel when they were talking about the so-called STD rates amongst Black women.
Zero, Philly Kid, and Jonathan. Have you ever heard Black men in the manosphere say that?
All the time. They would deem that as the first. So that would be the first example that they use on their quote unquote tool
So Grandmaster Troll, how did you miss it when you're manosphere and these men are not? How did you miss it? They say it all the time.
Like I said, I'm not on YouTube 24/7, so I can't.
Oh, come on!
I'm not on YouTube.
Information from everybody.
I'm not on YouTube 24/7.
We get finite proof.
I always lying.
Oh! I got the video. I got the video for that.
GMT, come on, we gotta be honest on this one, man.
Here's the deal, Kenny Troll. I do understand what you're trying to say, because we have, Tuskegee experiments and all different kinds of things that go on where African Americans are constantly being experimented on by the government. I believe in MK Naomi, okay, and MK Ultra. I believe in the creation of HIV/AIDS and monkeys being inoculated and Africans being inoculated and African Americans and all these different things, sabotage and lies. But at the same time, I think there is a mix of information out there, and it's up to us to sort through it. Because these same people who have lied to us for years and years about Egypt are also the same people who are now publishing the black faces of ancient Egyptians.
So you say it's very interesting to sort through it, but when I ask you a questions about the information that we could possibly sort through, y'all wanted to give me pushback. So when I say, who are these people who have all these STDs, that's a example of sorting through the information. When we say there's 36,000 Black people in Atlanta who has STDs, well, how many Black people do live in Atlanta? What's the exact percentage of those who do have STDs?
Okay,
Black
well, the population of Atlanta is 400 is roughly about 400,000 people that live in Atlanta. Roughly.
Yeah, so that's like 9% of the population that actually has it. From the population
I think Atlanta is maybe the 30th largest city in the country, roughly. However, when you speak about Atlanta, it's not just Atlanta; it's the metropolitan area, right? Mm-hmm. Now, in the metropolitan area, it's over 5 to 6 million people in the Atlanta metro area, mm-hmm. right? So that's where those numbers are coming from, the inflated numbers are coming from.
So of the 5 to 6 million people in metropolitan Atlanta, how many of them are Black and how many of them have STDs?
In Atlanta, I haven't done a study.
9%. It would be 9% for total amount of 400,000 people being there, and 36,000 that actually has it. it would be under 10%, just based off of data, off of straight sheer statistics. So when it comes to that, that's basically registered. Plus, Atlanta has a lot of tourists. So a lot of the times, it don't even probably have to be the people that's actually cultivated in the area.
So it's possible that the 36,000 people who have tested positive may not even be a resident of Atlanta or the Atlanta metropolitan area.
Yes, yeah, that's being honest. That's being honest. That's literally being honest. Due to the fact that Miami is literally in the top 5 when it comes to scenarios like this. Due to the fact that it's population, tourists, plus there's a lot of fun, and plus a lot of these places are extremely liberal when it comes to that.
So it's very possible, because we don't know, but it's possible that, let's say 50%, 18,000 of these people don't live in Atlanta or the Atlanta metropolitan area, somehow got tested in Atlanta, then possibly moved to other places like Europe, other places in America, other places in Canada or Africa. Is that possible as well?
Of course, but it's not going to be the absolute thing. Now, tourism is definitely something that you can be able to put in proportion, but when it comes to the people that's still living there, those are the 36,000 that's still living there. The numbers could be higher due to the fact that people move around. Scenarios that happen all over the country.
So as we begin,
come on GMT,
as we begin to sort through, like Uppity said, it is very possible that the people who may be black or have African blood may not even live in Atlanta, but we are so comfortable to come on YouTube and degrade a whole race of people in Atlanta for having an STDs, and they might not even have it.
Well, GMT, this is Uppy's lawyer. GMT, this is Uppy's lawyer. I'm literally and I would deem that my client here is definitely not at fault due to the fact that she went by statistical record, and we should go by statistical record and not by emotions, and that's clear logic.
But you gotta put the statistical information into context.
And we already broke it in context.
You just can't
mention how Atlanta is a big tourist city, and Atlanta has a huge nightclub type of industry vibe.
Yeah, so based on the ambiguities in the information, to me, it seems like it would be incorrect to paint a race of people who live in a specific demographic as running rampant with STDs, because when we put the information in context, we don't even know where these 36,000 people currently reside.
Man, listen, dog.
That's all I'm saying.
GMT, man, listen. We got to be like Minority Report. We got to really track down people like GPS machines. Come on, dog.
I mean, listen, man.
They're doing that with COVID, with contact tracing. Why aren't they contact tracing STDs?
Man, come on, man. Let's be honest, right? You could say that about
that is neither here nor there when it comes to Uppity.
So, all right. So the statistics for Black people that are actually in America, I think it's like 14% of America are Black, right? So you could say theoretically, well, how do we know all 14% actually live in America, right? They could have moved to Europe. They could have went to Jamaica. They could have moved somewhere else. I mean, dog, you could say that about anything. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, I get your point. But I don't. I mean, I get your point, but I don't.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. But my point is, Uppity chose to degrade her own people based on information that was out of context without giving a disclaimer. If she would have gave what disclaimer did you give about the 36,000 Black people who are?
I didn't even name 36,000 people. I didn't even say that number.
So why is that degrading?
That was my number, dog. That was really my number.
So how is that number degrading? Why is that degrading?
Why is it degrading? Is it
Yeah.
She didn't say all. She was just giving out the numbers that the people that do. No slander.
There
I didn't
was
give
slander.
a number. I was specifically saying the majority of cases among us in a concentrated area of HIV/AIDS is in Atlanta. I didn't even give out a number. I didn't throw out a percentage or anything. And I said women have more STDs. African American women have more STDs than African American men. That's true.
So
Are you sure? Are you
So-
sure? Are you sure that's true? Because every black person hasn't been tested for STDs.
You're right. So I'm not.
So you can't even say that.
According to the CDC, according to the reports, according to Black demographics.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
all right, so by your logic, right? So how do we really know AIDS is really killing people?
And then on top of that, like if you're saying that we ain't tested everybody, then that, I mean, because we didn't get everybody's results, then you have to say that for every statistic out there, because that's pretty much the same standard for all statistics.
Yeah. So you would
I
have
mean,
to
but
do
my
like
question is,
mass testing.
I mean, so who decided or who states that saying that a group of people who have AIDS is bashing their race? How is that bad? Saying a group of people have an STD. How is that bad?
Good question.
GMT is
I
definitely
say
trolling.
Black people get the least amount of vaccinations. Is that degrading? We get the least amount of COVID-19 vaccinations? Because according to everybody who's collecting the data, that's true.
Yeah.
So I really want him to answer that question though. Like
Okay, answer Philly Kid first. I'm on mute.
What's the question he wants me to answer?
Okay, so by Uppity saying that the percentage of people who have HIV, that's bashing, right? So apparently saying somebody who has HIV is bad. How is that bad, or who decides if that's bad or not?
No, what she said about that, it wasn't bad. When we talk about the degradation of black people, she went to bussy popping and all of this stuff, and she doesn't know who these people are dealing with in the bedroom, but she's making all these assumptions.
Didn't the
how
book
is that-
about
how is that
undercover brothers
degrading
come
them?
out of Atlanta by an Atlanta author? Isn't that where we have the most DL men? Isn't that where the DL book came from?
So I mean,
Do we have more DL men in Atlanta or in New York? Do we have more download brothers in Washington or Atlanta?
You wouldn't know because they're down low.
All right, so this is the thing, right? The word that you're using, degrading, was given to you by the racist white people that you're speaking of, right? So how do we really know degrading really means what you're saying that it means? Because it was given to us by the racist white people that you're speaking of. Black people come up with degrading.
No, the part I'm saying that was degrading, Philly Kid. If somebody called you a booty warrior or a bussy popping male Negro, wouldn't you find that degrading, even though if you wasn't? Would you take that as an insult and disrespect?
I didn't hear her say that.
Yeah.
Uppity, I gotta go. Uppity, I gotta go.
Always
Uppity,
running.
So you mean
I did say
Uppity,
I did say bussy popping.
so you mean Uppity unicorns up there talking about male bussy popping, and you over there in your room sleep on the StreamYard stream.
What, dude? What? GMT, you've been drinking, dog.
Uppity unicorn said bussy popping, and none of the other dudes was awake and heard it. They were asleep at the wheel.
So how was that degrading?
Right.
I said, if somebody referred to you, Philly Kid or Real Deal, as a bussy popping booty warrior,
But ain't nobody referring to me.
with
Ain't nobody-
HIV,
You're
no,
Oh,
I,
anybody was
I,
referring to me.
I,
I gotta go uppity. This is
I,
ridiculous.
I know nobody
I
specifically
know.
referred you to that, but if
Sorry about
somebody referred to black men as that in a city that you possibly reside in, would you take some offense to that?
He said, "Well, I take offense to it."
Mm-hmm. If somebody
No.
referred to you, or somebody referred to black males in the city in which you could possibly reside in as a bussy popping booty boy.
Well, I live in Atlanta. I mean, so she's talking about the city that I live in, and I wasn't offended.
You didn't hear it.
Right. But you just said that she said it. So I'm hearing it now,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
so regardless of when I heard it, I'm hearing it now, right?
Okay.
And I live in the city of Atlanta, right? The city that she's speaking of,